everybody. I'm just preparing the space for today. This is something that I often do before I go live. And you don't ever get to see me do, and I'm in a space where you can actually see this time. So here we are together. You've come to Live with Love, where we connect to our clairsenses, connect to our hearts, to the space that we are in, and the space within. So just pay attention. There's something here for you. This is what I call light language dance. Breathe as I move, as I send the energies to your space and prepare the space here on this live. Breathe. Having every intention that what you receive is for your highest and greatest good. Appreciation has come in this morning. I want you to feel into the frequency of appreciation. Not just gratitude, but appreciation. What is it to feel appreciation? Feel into the frequency of the music. Tap into your breath as well as your heart. And feel. And if appreciation is difficult for you to tap into, what are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? If you're just joining us now, I'm just preparing the space. some light language dance. Simply breathe and receive as I prepare the space for you, I, and all that show up here live or on the replay. Feel in to appreciation. Feel in to thankfulness. What are you grateful for in your life? Clearing the crown chakra and just doing a general scan down the body. And as I do this in the background, if you would take a breath as well, take a breath and feel into your own bodies and just notice how it feels at this time. What is appreciation? Who in your life do you appreciate at this time? Just feel. Appreciation, gratitude, heart, soul. Can you feel your soul, your life essence? Can you feel the heartbeat of your breath? Okay, you guys, that is what I do to prepare the space before I go on live with you guys. I'm just gonna reorient. Here we are. Just a little bit of adjustment here to make sure you guys don't fall over. Okay. Adjust my lights. How are you guys doing today? Hey Google, volume 4. Hey Google, volume 5. Yeah, we still want that frequency in the background. We're going to do a little bit of feeling into the frequency of our bodies. Hi guys. How are you doing today? Where are you from? Wow, I should have drank some water before I got on here. I really didn't expect to doing that light language dance. Wasn't planned. A lot of the time, the subjects that come up on this channel are definitely not planned at all. I kind of see, or rather feel, into what is coming in that day. Appreciation is one of the things that has come in today. And I guess it's come in, excuse me, I'm just going to clear my throat. It's come in because part of the class I was in this morning has to do with a letting go of, a passing away of certain times, of old times. And the class is a class, it's a death code, it's about death, but it's about a release of that which is an older way, right? There are some older ways out there that hold a lot of wisdom, right? And then there are older ways that we hold on to that could use an upgrade, right? So let me just feel into what's coming in today. Appreciation came in because this morning, as I was coming out of a meditation, which had to do with connecting to loved ones that had passed away, that we were honoring. And I have to say, I have a few family loved ones that have passed away. But when they did pass away, I already saw death in a different way. I didn't see it anymore as a losing or something being taken away from me. I saw it more as a gratitude and appreciation for the life that that person had while they were here with me. And I would think about the happy times. And I would think about how grateful I was that if they were going through a very hard health-related issue, that they were no longer suffering while they were here, right? So, appreciation. Appreciation for ourselves, appreciation for others. I'm curious what else is coming in for appreciation. Is it hard for you guys to feel appreciation? We say thank you all the time throughout our day. Someone opens a door, someone gives us a coffee. We say thank you. Someone hands us some food, we say thank you. But is there an emotion behind it? Is there a connection behind it? Is there true appreciation? Now, I know that there is appreciation that we feel when we are struggling and we are in survival mode, and someone comes along and helps us, and we feel like a little bit like we've been saved, which isn't a bad thing to have that safety. But it can be something that we're always looking for someone to save us. We see this in religion, right? The Savior. And the question is, I guess, coming back to appreciation, do we have the connection to have appreciation? Do we have connection to realize that nobody's going to save us? That we're not alone, but we're here to do a job. We're here to get more in touch with us, Many people talk about our soul's purpose. Guess what? You already have your soul's purpose accomplished. If you're here, you're remembering who you are. You've had this idea for a while that there was more out there, more available. You had this idea that life could be more uplifting, more joyful, more ways to really enjoy life instead of just struggling through it, or feeling like you haven't gotten a fair share, right? So that's why you're here. You clicked play for a reason. So if you have any questions about what's going on in your life right now, feel free to put them in the chat, because as I speak, I look and I see, what subject matters are coming up for people. What is needed at this time? And if there's no questions, that's okay too. But if you have questions, feel free to put them in. Or just something you've been kind of looking into and wondering if I've been looking into the same thing, going down the spiritual path. I can tell you that I initially started out with gratitude. When life was difficult, challenging, when there was a contrast in what I was seeing, and I didn't quite understand why, I brought gratitude in. This initially was for the partner I was with, right? When you're not always getting along with someone, or if you have for so long and then the energy shifts and all of a sudden it's not matching up. And you're like, what do I do? The human part of us gets into this mind space of, well, I've invested so much time in this relationship. Like, how long have you been together, right? Do you have children together? How do you feel when you're together? How do you treat each other when you're together, right? This is the first place that I actually applied gratitude. And interestingly enough, it was that partner that brought home a journal and suggested, hey, I've been hearing about gratitude. And I think at the time I was probably watching more Abraham Hicks, and I was, of course, sending it to my partner because I was like, hey, this might be a great thing to bring us together. Like, this might be a great way of living life, right? Is to bring appreciation and gratitude into our lives. And he brought home a journal. And at first, I felt like I was in school. And I was like, I don't want to write in this every single day. It's kind of every single morning we write in this. He's like, yeah, 10 things every single morning. And I was like, okay, all right, let's do it, right? And as I was writing down those things I was grateful for, I would always start at the same. And we would both do this. We would use the I am, that, that word of God, right? I am. Yahweh is another, like, I am. And we would say, I am grateful for ... 10 of them. By the time you got to like the fourth or fifth, you were already feeling it in your heart, the appreciation. And it wasn't always about the same subject. It could be about the person in general. Sometimes when there was a different kind of polarity happening in front of me, right? One person isn't getting along with another person and so on. The gratitude as the person, because it always takes one person to kind of switch up and be that observer, to not get involved in the drama that's happening before you. And that's called being the witness or the observer. And when you can do this, when you can stand in front of someone and maybe they don't like what you have to say. Maybe they're having a little irritation as to, they stubbed their toe that day. And because they stubbed their toe that day, like, all the rest of the day has to, like, blow up and not be great, right? Or they they spilled coffee on their shirt. They had to change before they left, right? There are these little things that happen to us that can create little altercations in someone, can change the polarity that they're standing in. You know, if they're tired, there's outside factors, right? If they're tired, didn't get a lot of sleep. But if you're able to stay in front of that person, that partner, that boss, that friend, and while they have their little, we'll say, episode, if you're able to take a sacred pause and come back to here, just like even just taking a deep breath, feel what that feels like. Take a deep breath with me, if you will. Ready? Ready? Through the belly, we're going to take a deep breath. And 3, 2, 1. Pause. And release. Let's do this again. Ready? Take a deep breath. Hold. And release. Take a deep breath. Hold. Can you hold for longer? And release. All the air this time, completely out of your body, and pause at the end. And breathe in. And pause. And breathe out. All the air out of your body, and pause. And breathe. And pause. And release. And pause. And breathe. Okay, now just breathe normally. And notice your body. It's not an easy thing to pause at the top of the breath, right? But pausing at the bottom of the breath is a whole different way of connecting to you. And it's not something we often do, is pausing at the end of a breath, unless we're underwater and we've been holding our breath for a very long time and we realize that we still have some space to get up to the top where we can breathe. Then we get that deep sacred pause, right? So what does this breathing do? This breathing helps reconnect you to your body. When there are things that are going on in your life that are out of control, basically, right? I just spoke of somebody was in front of you and they were having their drama, their episode, something going on, and pulling you into it, right? Maybe you were in with it equally too. That maybe it's both of you, right? Do you have the mindfulness to take a sacred pause? When you take that sacred pause, you do have the ability to look at that person while they're saying what they're saying, and you can listen to it, but you don't necessarily have to hear it and absorb it. There's a big difference between listening and really hearing. And when you're hearing, it's not just hear. The pause is to hear with the heart. Yes, you can hear with your heart. Hearing with our heart is usually, it's the calling. It's something in our life that tells you to take a right here instead of a left. It tells you to go a different way to work. It tells you to possibly reschedule something and do this other thing instead, even though it may make no sense at all. Because, why doesn't it make sense? Well, because that is the mind. And the mind is a beautiful thing. But the mind is linked up with our beautiful ego selves. And that is what comes into play when we're in a place where there's something going on in front of us and it's a little out of control, or it's getting there and you see it happening and you're either participating or you're kind of like watching it from afar and you're like, whoa, what is happening? This is a time where you can bring in appreciation, especially if it is a boss that you have a hard time with, or a partner that just doesn't seem like you guys are communicating. Like that whole Mars and Venus thing where one is from one and one is from another planet, and you guys are trying to speak the same language or a blend of the same language, right? This is where appreciation can come in. It's a tool. You can be with this person in front of you, and you can, if you know them personally, you can start to look for little things that you're grateful for. I had this happen with a partner and a previous spouse they had, where, wow, just how I was being treated, it was so unusual to me. Just a strange way to be, it seemed, especially when children are involved, right? So I would look at this person and I would try and find beautiful things about them that I was appreciative of, even though they were being rather curt with me, rather like short and not including me in a conversation, possibly totally ignoring me and talking to someone else. See what that feels like, right? When two people are having a conversation and there's not eye contact towards you to show that inclusion. There's a lot that happens there to someone. You would think that it's not a heavy type of like wound or emotional reaction, but it is. When someone's ignored, children are ignored, spouses are ignored, people ghost each other these days. I've never really knew what it felt like to be ghosted. And then I had 2 different experiences where that was kind of happening. And somebody accused me of ghosting them as well. And I thought it was a funny thing because I was like, I'm not ghosting you. I on purpose told you that I am no longer talking to you because it is not a healthy way to be, whatever's happening in front of me or with me and that other person. I was like, there's something off and it's not healthy for me, and so therefore I can't talk to you. And because I'm telling you that means I'm not ghosting you. I didn't just drop off the face of the earth. I physically told you, sorry, I have to think about my health. So those are just little examples of how you can be in a place with someone and take that sacred pause of breath, and you can actually appreciate different things about that person. Do they have beautiful eyes? Do they have nice hair? Are they just wearing a really nice color that you like? Sometimes you can pause the altercation or something that's happening in front of you by simply saying that. They could be rattling on about something. You could say, yeah, I don't quite understand what you're talking about, but I love that shirt you're wearing right now. I just got to tell you, that color is awesome on you. And it kind of throws things off a little bit because that person who's in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, possibly, is wanting to have you engage with them and be just as frustrated as they are. But when you bring gratitude, when you bring appreciation, and I want to even say compassion, because without compassion, there's criticism and there's judgment. So when someone is in a space of criticism and judgment, you can almost be assured that there is very little compassion there. There's very little compassion for themselves or the person that they are projecting on. And then the person who's being projected on, are they having compassion? Do they have enough compassion for themselves to say, whoa there, I'm going to need some time to digest some of what you're telling me, and let me get back to you on that. Or just be able to even be there and listen to this person. Sometimes there's someone with you and they just want to be heard. That takes a lot of compassion to not try and fix something. This is for a lot of you guys out there, or you guys in the guy role, that someone may just want to be listened, heard, listened and heard to, not necessarily agreed with, but just have someone be there in that space with them. And maybe they just need to blow off steam, right? But can you have compassion? Can you have appreciation? And can you have gratitude for what is occurring? We talked about some of this in a previous live where we found out that we go through this path of things are happening to me, like, holy crap, this is happening to me, and you're in victimhood, or things are happening for me, right? Things are happening to me, things are happening for me. Feel the difference in frequency in those words, right? Just gonna look at the comments here. How you doing, everybody? What do you do if they talk crazy? Well, when you're in a survival mode, when a person is in a survival mode, they do sound like they could be a little wacky. Sometimes that happens because their body takes over, their nervous system takes over, and then words start coming out, right? If anger is involved, if it's not just sadness and it's anger, then that is a time to see if the person's willing to take a little pause. A lot of the time, someone has an argument with you, and people really have a hard time with it when you say, hey, stop overreacting, or hey, can you just take a minute? Sometimes I will just excuse myself and be like, okay, I see you have a lot to say. Hold that thought. I gotta go use the restroom. And then I may leave for a while and be in there, like, not just the amount of time it takes to pee, but I might just be like, okay, how long does this person need? Because maybe they'll breathe while I'm gone. Maybe there'll be some sort of relaxation in their nervous system, and then when I'm back, they're willing to have more of a conversation, not just a one-sided where someone's spewing information at you. So that can happen when somebody's going a little when that happens and someone's like, blah, 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 and we've all done it, by the way. And especially the over-explaining. I've been accused of the over-explaining in types of scenarios like that. And I think about it, and I look at myself, and I'm like, okay, why am I over-explaining? And then I'm like, all right, yeah, it's because I'm not getting some sort of aha from the person I'm speaking with, right? Like I'm not getting a confirmation on something I just said. And this is kind of this has more in intimate relationships, right? And what I find these days, because I'm able to take that sacred pause and just kind of it's like I'm here, and then I'm taking a seat back, and I'm like, okay, what is this person actually trying to convey to me? Because a lot of the time, there's a lack of communication happening, or there are two perspectives and they're not meshing, right? They're like opposing magnets, and they're pushing each person away from each other. So the best thing you can do really is to take that pause. It's really up to one person. If there's two people involved, right? If there's more than two people involved, and you're kind of mediating something, it's that ability to see if others are willing to take that pause, right? And there are different ways to go about that, right? Someone says bipolar comes out. Yeah, so there's like a splitting of the persona that happens, and that splitting of the persona is the wounded inner child. And you're like, I'm an adult. What do you mean it's my wounded inner child? There's a reason why Freud was always like, tell me about your mother, right? Tell me about your father. There are different things that occurred to us as children that we've brought with us into adulthood. And so that inner child basically is showing up as an adult. Here I am right now, and I'm really upset. And gosh darn it. And like it's almost, it might not be a physical tantrum. It might be. People might start throwing things. That happens in life too. Get to a safe place if that's occurring, because if you're an adult and you're throwing things, it's time to look at a few different things in your life. But yeah, stuff's gonna come out. Is it great to hold the stuff in? No, it's not. Is it okay to project that stuff onto people, like literally upchuck, throw up that stuff onto someone else? No, it is not. So it is very healthy for someone to excuse themselves and say, I need to take some time with this. I need to have this digest, and then go about what that is for that person. Now, if a person's just like, I'm out of here and I can't listen to this anymore, that would be avoidance. Then you have the person who's either being yelled at or yelling themselves and seeing they're getting nowhere. And you get an avoidance that starts happening. And that is another type of suppressing your emotions. And what that does is it just comes up in a different way. I was watching a sitcom yesterday, and they were all trying to be, they were a family that yelled a lot, and they were trying not to yell around this little girl because they were worried that she would be a serial killer if she saw people get angry with each other. And then they found out later that the mother that had passed away, that was a criminal that had this baby who had been a serial killer, they had found out that it was the suppression of the emotions, that the parents didn't allow the space for emotions to come out. So that person held on to him so deep that later on, as they grew up, they became very violent, right? So there are a lot of different scenarios out there that can have those kind of things happen. I'm just going to look at the questions. Good to see you guys here. Give me a little idea of where you guys are from. I'm always curious, like, where around the earth plane are you from? I'm doing awesome today. If you missed it, I was doing a little bit of light language dance in the beginning, and not something I planned, but there was something coming through for you guys to receive. I don't always know what that something is, by the way. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here on this whole YouTube channel and seeing what is it that wants to come up. The other day, someone had a birthday, and I happened to have my cards with me, and they said, hey, will you do a reading for me? And I knew that reading would be for everybody here. Not just the person having the birthday, but it applied to every single person here on this live or on the replay later. All right. I'm gonna look for more questions. Do any of you guys have a question about these different things that I'm speaking of? Got someone using plant medicine right now. Have you ever considered using plant medicine as ceremony? Like, not just to relax, not just like a glass of wine. Have you ever thought to apply mindfulness to plant medicine? I'll put that out there. Am I doing a reading today? Good question. Would you guys appreciate some sort of reading today? Yeah, no, it's very hard for people to be corrected, right? It's not easy to hear. Oftentimes correction shows up like criticism, right? Like we're doing something wrong. And that comes from our parents always telling us, you're doing something wrong, do it like this, do it like, you know, this is better, this is a better way to do it. And that's something I've had to kind of navigate in my path a little bit. I had a lot of parental do it this way instead, and I was able to kind of correct that with like an earlier child that I had, right? And these days even I'm able to apply it. How do you give input on something without putting someone down or criticizing, right? Because we are all on our own path, and it's going to look different for each one of us how we get there. But there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of modalities out there, there's a lot of channelers out there. So even if what I'm saying doesn't resonate with you, there are so many great, insightful people out there also going down this path, having a journey that might be similar to yours. Because kind of how it works out is those people you connect with on YouTube like this, there's something in their journey that resonates with your journey. There's something, could be one thing in your life that you're like, oh yeah, right? You just have to feel into it, and you'll know if you know it's not for you, right? We just switch the channel. We watch something different, right? It's like a radio station. We want to listen to a different kind of music, we switch the channel. If we're getting a little static and nothing's making sense, we're like, okay, on to the next thing. But we do the best that we can with what we have at the time, right? That even goes for our parents. The different things that we might have come up for us in childhood, and we might even still hang on to as adults. We still hang on to that. I have someone in my family that still hangs on to something that their parents, they felt was done to them, or they weren't there for them. They felt, they still had this feeling of abandonment that they are probably constantly addressing, right? And they're doing that through therapy, right? Sometimes actual therapy is needed. Sometimes medications are needed in order to come to a balanced state in the nervous system. And then other things can be applied, like breath work and tapping. Tapping's a good one. Dance is a good one, somatic dance. It's interesting that I was dancing before this live today, because that is part of what regulates your nervous system. Like, who knew? Who knew that when you're cooking in the kitchen and you put on a good song, or you're jamming in your car, and say, you know, you're at a place where you're safe to do so, and you take your arms off the wheel and you're like, yeah, and you're jamming in there, and you don't care who's seeing you. This is Maeve's coming up to say hi. Maisie's coming up. All right, let me see if there are any other questions here. Okay, do a reading. Give me one moment. I'm just gonna grab some cards. I'll see what's in my bag, and I'll pick some cards for you guys, and we'll see what you can take with you in your day for the rest of the day, okay? One moment. Oh, and Maisie's gonna take my spot. Okay, we're just gonna do this. This dog is such a lover. Not my dog, but I will say that Maisie's human is an amazing human. She's a beautiful person, and she so loves on these dogs. Maybe you guys need a little golden poodle energy, huh? Doesn't look like a golden, right? But golden poodle she is. Better be careful, she's gonna cop a feel there. Amazing. She's a cute one. Okay. You guys are so cute too. Close, not in the very near, not too far distant future. I have a website that is coming together with different content, and I will be able to, you will be able to subscribe to it. And I will be able to see your beautiful faces on a weekly basis, because I will be having weekly lives, Q&As. There's going to be a price scale where, check out these cards, a price scale of membership where I'm actually going to read to you guys. It still seems so weird to me that I'm going to read to you guys. Like, it seems a little off the wall, but there's something there. There are codes within the books that I'm going to be reading. Some of them are just going to seem like a regular children's book, but they're way more than that. And then there's going to be some deeper books that get into initiation and connecting with certain guides. You are beautiful. Okay, let's pick some cards. Let me tap in a little bit. Let me just feel into the people here on this live. Okay. Whether you're live or on the replay, what is there that needs to be known at this time? How can we bring more appreciation into one's life? How can we bring the sacred pause? The sacred pause? Look at that. Aww. Wow, that feels really good. All right. Amazing. Okay, this is interesting. So sometimes I'm just flipping the deck over, and this is one of the cards that came up right here. And what this card says is, the word wants to be written. So we were just talking about books, and we have butterflies. Butterflies have been coming in, and they have to do with transformation. They have to do with breaking out of the chrysalis. There is a parable by, there's a channeler named Lee Carroll who channels Cryon. And there is a parable. I don't know if it's called Caterpillars, but I believe it's on YouTube. So now I'm talking about an audiobook. And so if this resonates at all, Cryon, Lee Carroll, the parable of the caterpillar, I believe. And it has to do with, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it has to do with kind of different dimensions. We're always living, we are multidimensional. We are living in this multidimensional space. And I'm gonna block her. It's so funny. You can see her foot at the bottom. It's like a rabbit's foot. She's good luck, guys. Just rub the rabbit foot. The poodle foot. Okay, let me recenter here. So, as you are the butterfly, I'm going to show you this. As you are the butterfly, as you spread your wings, she's tickling me. As you spread your wings, there is a death and a rebirth. Again, we have the death. So it's not really a death, kind of like a cryostasis chamber, right? The chrysalis is a place, a safe place, almost like the womb, a place for transformation to take place and for there to be something new reborn. So one of the cards yesterday was also about rebirth, about bringing in the new. We were working with some Phoenix cards, and that's what this one is kind of bringing in. We have the consciousness coming in through the crown of the head, and as I was doing some light language dance, I was working on the crown. I was clearing the crown for those who were to attend this live or on the replay. What does that do when we clear certain areas, certain energy centers? It clears it so that there is more of a connection. That's been coming up too. Creating a full circuit, a full circuit of energy. So where in your life have you been cutting off the flow? Where have you been stopping yourself? Or where has someone else possibly been putting a stopper in your energy flow and you've been allowing it? Or not noticing it, but realizing that maybe you feel a little depleted. There's really no energy vampires out there. We like to think that there are, that there's no choice in that, in us feeling a certain way when we're around a certain person, but there is a choice. We have the ability to break away and say, I gotta go. It's time for me to go, or I can't hear you right now about this. I just have to figure out or digest the information you're giving me. I've been around people that I've started to feel nauseous around, or all of a sudden I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom, and I think that's just the body's way of saying, hey, go take some space for yourself, right? So that's what this card is bringing through. There's a butterfly at her throat. Pay attention to that. It's kind of a fancy bow tie, right? Butterfly at the throat, asking you to speak more, to allow your voice to come out more. We were just talking about that. We were talking about speaking up, but not necessarily upchucking on someone, your truth, right? Everyone's got their truth. Everyone's got their way of how they're going to see something, perspective-wise. They've got their own lens. And depending on if it's coming from the heart or it's coming from the mind will depend on if your soul's more in charge or your beautiful egoic self is more in charge. All right. I've got 2 dogs coming in on me. All right. So there's the card for today. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to see if there are any questions. There is one more card. Okay. One more card. This one is about inspiration. And again, we've got this crown chakra activation. So this feeling, I want you to feel into this card, because this feeling of this card, this is what happens when I breathe and tap into my soul, into my heart, into that God particle, that God spark, the all that there is. It's this feeling of wonder that happens. And actually, it may be different for you guys, but for me, I get a lightness in my heart. All of a sudden, when there is a message of some sort to come through, when there's a message that comes through, it flutters. It's almost bubbly, like soda in my heart. It feels very light, and it actually feels kind of cool, effervescent. And I have this feeling of wonder. And this feeling of wonder, breathe into that for a moment. When do you have this feeling of wonder? Sorry about that. I'm going to reorient here. When do you usually have this feeling of wonder? For me, a lot of the time it happens when I'm out in nature. Those are one of the ways that wonder comes into play. We see a vastness, we see a lake, we see a river. Possibly we've hiked up very high, right? and there's a new perspective that we're being shown. And so this is another way to kind of shift things in your life, is to wonder, what if? What if there were no limits? I told someone this yesterday on their birthday when I talked to them later. I said, write something down. I was like, just start writing and see what happens. Like, what if you could create something in your life without limits? And I said, pay attention. When you notice that your mind's getting in the way and wanting to organize it, wanting to take control and put things in order, like this and then this and then this, it's not a bad thing, but pay more attention to what your heart is saying. If there was no limit, if there wasn't a limit on finances or where you had to live, or being with a particular partner that you want to have in your life, if there was no limit, how would you live? How would you bring that feeling of appreciation and actually feeling like you have it at the time already? What are the little things you can do in your day that say, oh, I'm making space. I want a different kind of car. I want a new car. What if I decided to appreciate the car that I had and then make space for another car? Maybe I'm parking my car in a different spot. In this spot where I used to park this car is going to be where my new car is. You can do this with a partner as well. You sleep in the middle of the bed. Maybe you want to pick a side. Maybe there's a side that you pick, and that partner, there's space for that partner. Maybe there's a drawer that you want to empty, and there's just a bunch of junk in there. But if you had a partner in your life, that drawer might be your partner's drawer. And it might not just be one drawer. There might be a couple drawers that belong to your partner. But during that time when you're waiting for a partner to come in, for inspiration to come in and wonder to come in, can you be in wonderment? Can you appreciate what you have in life? Can you bring in gratitude? Can you write down 10 things every day, or even 5 things that you're grateful for, that can just shift your whole day? I promise you, it shifts your whole day for you to write down what you're thankful for in life. All of a sudden, if something's happened early on in your day, if you got like a smudge on yourself, you got to change your shirt, if you stubbed your toe, the moment you get into that space of gratitude and appreciation, it is like a domino effect in the remainder of your day. And if something occurs that is a little out of control or was unexpected, you see it differently. It's not a domino effect of I stubbed my toe so that everything else in the world is horrible. It's more of a, oh yeah, that happened, but that was like a moment in my day. And this happened, but now that moment's over. What do I need now? And that's a great question, like asking your heart, like, what do I need now? It could be a breath. It could be a drink of water. What do I need now? And how can I have more wonderment in my life? Okay. Yeah, living in the wish fulfilled. Exactly. That's, yes, the wish fulfilled. Brian Scott, wonderful videos. So occasionally I will name some people. Sometimes I will put links in the description that have to do with what we talked about. Occasionally, it might not have anything to do with what we talked about, and it could be a great song, or could be for something that was coming in after this live, like tomorrow's live. Like something might come in prior to a little bit, so I'll put that link in there, right? But Brian Scott is a great one. He's got great meditations if you have a hard time falling asleep at night. Yeah, he's done a lot of research and is bringing a lot forward. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick look right here. Okay. We have a few people that want to be completely off-grid, no limits, and just live immersed in nature. I know what that feels like. For whatever reason, I've been looking at land the last couple of years. Looking at land and wanting to live on the land. I definitely like the idea of self-reliance, not depending on like the government, right? Producing my own electricity is possible these days. Having the availability of water, clean water is available where we are in America, right? So growing my own food. I keep trying to grow things in my wagon, and really only cactus can grow in there. I've tried carrots, I've tried microgreens. I feel like I just don't have the space for that. Hello, India. Love right back at ya. Okay, so I'm not actually sure how to bring someone on. You're asking about coming on while we're talking. That might be something that I do in the future. I will look into it. Generally, to do something like that where I bring someone live on YouTube, you can do that with Zoom, and I will be doing that with my community, which should be up and running. I want to say within a month's time. I'm gonna give myself a time frame of 1 month to get my website all going and be able to have a community that we can meet on Zoom, and I can bring you guys on. In order for me to do it here, I would have to actually know you. Oh, there is one thing I can do actually though. So I have email now. I have email linked to the website that is already in the etheric field. So if you want to email me, how would I do this? If you want to, two things. If you want to email me questions or topics for these lives, things you've been wondering about, you can email me at love@onecocreation.com. Okay? love@onecocreation.com. And if you do email me, you could ask to come on live with me. I haven't done that yet, so it might be kind of interesting to do so and see how that works out. If there's a certain topic you have and you want to be brought up, I'll just pick one person per live maybe, and we could do something like that. Thank you for suggesting that. That would be kind of fun. Awesome. You subscribed. Fantastic. Yeah, remember you guys to subscribe, hit the bell, get that thumbs up going. It helps this reach more people, helps me continue to be able to bring this work to you guys. And hopefully there's some value in here, you know? Take what you want, leave the rest behind, come back for it later. There might be a different perspective you have. It happens to all of us. Retro, oh, you're in India, awesome. I haven't been to India yet, but I have been visiting Tibet in my class. Mount Kailash, maybe you've been there. If you have a chance to go, you're closer there than I am, so maybe this is your call to go to Mount Kailash. Currently, I'm in Colorado. All right, guys. It's a pleasure to have connected with you. I'm gonna say adieu to you and you and you. And I love you. Thank you for being with me here today and sticking around for what comes up, because it's always different. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I look forward someday in the near future, probably within the month. Yes, within the month, I'm just gonna say. And being able to connect with you guys in a different way. So again, the email is love@onecocreation.com, and send me something. Take a look in the detailed description of some of these last videos. There are different reference links for Instagram, some places I've been. There are reference links for people who have asked about donating. That's there if you feel called to do that. yeah, it's just really a pleasure to be here with you guys on a regular basis. So have a fantastic day. Find your smiles, find your happy thought, and feel and breathe into your heart. Give yourself those moments in your day. Maybe it's just 3 seconds where you take 3 breaths. Maybe it's more like 6 seconds so that you get a full breath, and see how that works for you in your day. I will talk to you soon. Yes, namaste. As always, I am, we are one. One breath, one light, one heart. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you soon.